They warned us not to build near the ancient site in Saqqara. But in 2002, the government approved a girls' school, just half a kilometer from one of Egypt's oldest necropolises. Workers reported strange setbacks from the first week: missing tools, cold wines underground, and handprints that appeared in drying cement, wide like shovels. One man quit on the spot after seeing something crawl across the sand in daylight. Within weeks of opening, a student named Safa vanished during recess, her shoes found pointing toward a cracked foundation stone. Or one had noticed before. The first teacher who investigated Miss Ronia collapsed 2 days later, bleeding from her gums and mumbling in ancient Egyptian dialects she never studied. The headmaster ignored it until girls began drawing symbols they'd never learned: ankhs carved into desks, spirals scratched into mirrors, bruises shaped like scarabs on their arms. One student screamed at her reflection, saying she saw a woman with no eyes and a mouth sealed shut, whispering from behind the glass. By winter, the school was sealed by the government without explanation. 1 year later, 5 urban explorers broke in and streamed the whole thing live. At the 23-minute mark, they found the crack in the basement floor, and when they kicked it open, it revealed a shaft that dropped into pure blackness. They joked until the last 5 minutes, when their laughter stopped, flashlights flickered, and the audio caught a screech not human. The screen froze on a figure at the tunnel's edge, pale, hairless, mouthless, with eyes stretched to wide. The video was deleted within hours. Only 2 explorers returned. One slit his throat in a hostel. The other hasn't spoken since. The ministry denied the school ever existed, and maps were wiped. But villagers remember, they say, that land once held the tombs of priests condemned for worshipping something older than Osiris. Those priests were buried alive under binding spells, not to punish them, but to contain whatever they served. Locals say something cracked open when they dug the school's foundation, and now something has awakened. Soon after, strange sounds began at night. Reports of whispering whined even during dead silence. Stray dogs mutilated with ancient symbols carved into their ribs. Livestock found frozen stiff under the sun, eyes missing. In a nearby village, a 7-year-old girl claimed her dead brother came to her room and told her to come join the soil. She tried to dig herself into the ground behind her house with her bare hands. Her fingernails were torn off. She never spoke again. An old archaeologist, Professor Nobil El-Masri, came out of retirement when he heard about the site. He was the first to admit the government was hiding something. He bribed his way onto the property and entered the ruins one morning with a small camera crew. Only static returned. His last known recording featured wall carvings that weren't Egyptian spiral maps, long hands, and the star-shaped are repeated everywhere. Blood was splattered across the hieroglyphs, but no bodies were found. His team never emerged. Months later, pieces of him washed ashore on the Nile. Clean cuts, bones hollowed out like reeds. Officials said it was a boat accident. Locals said otherwise. Elders in Saqqara started performing ancient warding rituals, drawing protective circles in salt and placing dried herbs in schoolyards and homes. One woman claimed she saw a shadow walking on her ceiling, not under it. She moved away the next day. Her house caught fire that same night. No signs of gasoline, no matches, just heat from inside the concrete. By 2006, surrounding towns had lost over 40 people to disappearances, burnings, and mysterious illnesses that left their faces contorted and lungs filled with sand. The press barely reported any of it. Those who did found their articles removed within hours. A journalist named Layla Badawi tried to publish a series called The Buried Church of Saqqara. 2 days later, she was found drowned in her bathtub, skin peeled as if boiled. There was no water in the apartment, and her door had never been opened. A group of Egyptian university students obsessed with the case created a digital archive called the Threshold Project. They compiled all local accounts, videos, and interviews, then drove to the ruins in secret to document it themselves. Their last entry was audio, only panicked breathing, Someone repeating the word open in a voice too deep to be human. Then a sharp scream, then silence. The archive was pulled down 3 hours later. Their families were told they died in a traffic accident. No funeral was held. Meanwhile, strange copies of the original livestream resurfaced on deep web forums. A still frame from minute 27 shows a child standing in the shadows barefoot, arms bent backwards, face blank. The same child appears in footage recorded from another country entirely. A tourist in Jordan captured her standing near Petra's ruins, smiling as if waiting. Multiple sightings followed: London, Rome, Istanbul. Always barefoot, always silent. She never aged. One user said the girl is not a ghost but a messenger. Her land was sold to a private developer in 2010, with plans to construct luxury housing. On the day of groundbreaking, the first bulldozer broke down before it touched the soil. The driver collapsed, eyes rolled back, mouth foaming with black fluid. He died within minutes. His autopsy revealed an ancient clay tablet lodged inside his stomach, covered in blood. Officials called it a sick prank, but the workers refused to return. No construction has happened there since. Villagers now refer to that stretch of desert as El Qabr al-Sar, meaning the bewitched grave. GPS apps glitch when users approach it, phones die instantly, and compasses spin in circles. Migrating birds are seen avoiding the area mid-flight, changing direction sharply. The government built a wall around it, unmarked, no trespassing signs. It is guarded night and day by armed men with no uniforms, no IDs, and orders to shoot if crossed. No one knows what lies beneath that ground now, but whispers continue. A Cairo taxi driver picked up a woman at 3 a.m. in Giza. She wore ancient jewelry, her skin cracked like pottery, and she asked to be taken to Saqqara. When he arrived, she vanished from the back seat, leaving only dust and blackened fingerprints on the window. He quit driving that same night. Days later, he was found dead in his home. Mouth open, eyes burned out. The windows were locked from the inside. On his wall, scratched in with a nail, were the words, "She's not buried." No one dares speak her name anymore. Not the villagers, not the ministry. The last archaeologist who tried to investigate publicly went blind after visiting the site. He said he heard voices beneath the sand, not in his ears, but inside his blood. It wasn't just a tomb, he whispered. It was a door. Some say this is older than Egypt, older than gods. Not a demon, not a creature, a hunger, sealed away and worshipped by those who vanished into myth. And now that hunger is stirring again, the soil is cracking. The screams in the dark aren't from the past, they're warnings. The last known footage from the site shows a man standing still for 5 minutes, facing the crack in the stone. Then he laughs not like a man, but like something learning how to mimic human noise. The screen goes black. That man was never seen again. His family received a sealed urn, no explanation, no ashes, just sand. To this day, no official map shows the ruined school, no records exist. But satellite images still show a darkened outline near Saqqara, shaped like an eye with no pupil. Sometimes, on nights when the wind is still, villagers say they hear the sound of children playing from beneath the ground. One of them sounds like Safa, and one, they say, is not a child at all. It growls when it laughs. It calls out names no one remembers until you answer. And once you do, something comes to you in your sleep. Something that smells like dust and copper. Something that drips sand onto your chest as you struggle to wake up. You'll try to scream, but your mouth won't move. You'll feel breath on your face. You'll hear whispering in a language older than language. And if you open your eyes, you'll see her standing over you, her mouth unsealed, her eyes wide and waiting. She doesn't want worship. She wants to be remembered. The last recorded incident tied to Saqqara was in 2022, when an international film crew disappeared while scouting locations for a horror movie. Only one camera was found, still recording. The final frame showed the cracked foundation, a barefoot girl staring into the lens, and behind her, the shadow of something not shaped like anything on Earth.